Hi Facebook, it is Say It Right Sundays with Right On Consulting Agency. It is 7:45 and I am excited about today's series. I should have taken my glasses off, but if I do that now, I'm not going to be able to see the computer, so I'm going to keep them on. It's a glare, but I found a new recording spot. My office is going to be the best bet. The other places that I was losing sunlight, so it was creating a darkness over the videos. So I've just been searching and moving around my house trying to find the perfect lighting, and this is it. This is so it. So I'm so excited about that, to be able to find my live spots, because this looks really good. I'm not going to lose sunlight because I'm using the overhead light, so that is awesome. So I am super excited about tonight's series. We are starting series 2 of our Facebook Live videos, and this month's actually is going to run through the month, and this month's series is going to deal with how to manage your things to do list. We all, I'm sure, have things to do lists everywhere. I found a couple just in preparation for this video where I've handwritten some things down, had some check marks, had some not checked off, and I just want to give you a method that I use and some insight that I have concerning the power of writing things down and how our brains really do respond to the actual writing that we do. So it's not the typing that we do. I know that we are a technologically sound generation. We're in an age where technology is the thing to use and the thing to do, and I'm not knocking technology. Technology lets me come to you guys wherever you are, but writing things, literally physically writing things down, has its weight. And so that's the whole highlight of this particular series. Why writing things? Well, the whole highlight of the series is how to manage your things to do list, and part 1, which we're going to cover tonight, talks about why writing things down matter. You guys, it matters that you physically pick up your pen and you take some paper and you put pen to paper. It really does matter in our function of our brain, the way the brain is set up to physically write things down. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I do want to share the takeaways with you for the entire series. So let me grab my notes on that, so that you guys can be mindful of the highlights of this particular series. One thing I want to reiterate in this particular series is to understand the power of writing information down. Again, why writing things down matters is tonight's or this week's series. Remember, I'm going to be on Sundays at 7:45. Again, we recap on Wednesdays at, I think, between 6:15 and 6:30. That time worked out well for me with my work schedule. And then you will see reposts of the videos from tonight and Monday, Wednesday night, on Fridays about 6 o'clock. You should see that information coming on your news feed. And then on Saturday evenings about 6 o'clock, you should see the next week's highlights. So I've been looking forward to the videos, which is good. I enjoy getting on and speaking to you guys about this kind of writing. No, I'm not on here yet talking about commas and sentence structure and that kind of thing. I believe we'll get to it, but I just wanted to give you some practical things you can do now as it relates to writing that you may or may not even think about, that's actually helpful. So again, the purpose of this series is to reiterate the power of writing information down and managing your things to do list. We know we all have hundreds of things to do, seems like anyway, hundreds of things to do in one day, and I just want to share with you some notes and some methods that I use in order to manage my things to do list. So the first thing, again, understand the power of writing information down, and then 2, actually creating your things to do list on a monthly, weekly, and daily basis. So how many of you know your things to do list is not necessarily just for today? You can have one for today, you can have one that extends itself for the entire week, or you can create one that extends itself for an entire month. And then we want to talk about creating goal sheets for larger tasks. It's a method that I've used and it works well for me in order to see why I set particular goals, what's the underlying purpose of why I need to accomplish the goal, and it really does help me get the goal accomplished. So tonight's highlight is why writing things down matters. why do you actually need to take your pen, take some paper, and write? Why do we need to do that? And tonight's video is tonight's discussion is going to help you understand the power of writing. So the takeaway for number 1 is physically writing things down impacts parts of your brain. You guys, we have in our brain what you call the frontal lobe, and I think it's this pronounced the parietal lobe. You have the temporal lobe, and you have the occipital lobe. You have 4 lobes in your brains. I don't know if that's the only thing you have. What I'm looking at has 4 lobes on it, so I think that is about it. You have 4 lobes. So your frontal lobe is the part of the brain that is associated with our speaking and our ability to write. This is the area that's responsible for movement. It's the area that's responsible for reasoning and our judgment. Your parietal lobe is also important in the writing process. It's the part of the brain that interprets the words and the languages that we hear. So you guys are able to understand what I'm saying and interpret that as words, interpret that and get an understanding because of your parietal lobe. Anytime you have any type of brain damage, this is the part of the brain that will have trouble spelling and writing by hand, your parietal lobe. So these lobes do function or help us write or understand the process of writing, and then they also help us understand what is written and then what is spoken to us. So why does writing things down help us remember? Remember, that's the highlight of this video. Physically writing things down impacts parts of the brain, and that's our takeaway number 1, that when I take pen to paper, then I am physically creating an atmosphere that's impacting parts of my brain that's helping me remember the information that I'm writing down. Typically, we don't finish projects that we start, and one reason is because we didn't write it down. How many of us have forgotten to do an assignment for our job? And you get to work, be like, dog, I forgot to do A, B, C, D, E. And that's the one thing you didn't write down. I have a tendency, if I write it down, I don't care what it is, I'm going to remember it. My mind has a tendency to remember exactly where it is on the page, exactly where I wrote it. Sometimes when I'm looking for stuff that I've misplaced and I can't put my hand right on it, I see what I wrote and where I wrote it, and I'm able to find it that way. So we can all testify to the power of actually writing things down. Now, scientifically, it is proven when you write something down with a pen and paper or a pencil and paper, and y'all, I'm talking about physically writing things down, it doesn't have the same effect when we're typing information. Okay, so when we're physically writing something down with pen and paper, you are stimulating a collection of cells in the base of your brain known as the reticular activating system. So your RAS is the filter for all the information our brain needs to process information. And when we write things down, we are telling our brains, we are actually signaling to our brain, hey brain, listen up, focus, I need to pay attention to this information. Like, how powerful is that? That our brain is like that smart, that it registers when we are physically writing something down versus typing something, and then it actually triggers in our brain that we need to pay attention to this information, which is takeaway number 2. Writing things down brings the information written to the forefront of your mind. So how powerful is that? When you write things down, it kind of makes its way to the very front part, the forefront of your mind, and you're able to recall that information quicker versus maybe you just had a verbal conversation, or maybe you verbally told yourself, okay, tomorrow I'm going to the library, you know, something of that nature. And I had that experience today. I had told myself, okay, I'm going to Walmart, I'm going to get my car washed, and then I think I had the intention of going to Publix after that and then going home. So I got to Walmart, and you guys, on my way to Publix, which was stop number 3, I was like, oh man, I said I was going to go get my car washed, but I had written car wash down. And so I think, you know, my brain was triggered. It came to the forefront of my mind, and I was able to complete the car wash, which may seem little to you, but I needed to either to do it today or get it done tomorrow. I really needed to get it done today. So writing things down, y'all, I can testify to you. You can testify for yourself that writing information down really does help. And science has proven that when you write information down, again, with pen and paper, you need your pen, it's going to trigger your brain. Again, your RAS is the filter, or your reticular activating system is activated when we actually put pen to paper. That is powerful to me, that our brain has the ability to connect what we write and then have a process of its own, a system of its own to help us remember that information. Which is takeaway number 3. Writing triggers to your brain to pay close attention. It's